will understand how the images are stored, how the data of the image is stored, the value of every pixel, how to make animation. So we'll see a lot of things related to graphics and multimedia. Okay. So the objectives, yes, go ahead please.
دكتور حنا شعبة 6101 فرع الدمام تعطينا أونلاين دايما ولا بس اليوم؟
Yes, we have online classes every weekly. Okay. For all the sections. So we have 6 sections together. So they will take, all of them will take online class every Monday, okay? From 2 to 4. Any other question? So the objectives of this course are, first of all, to understand the basic objective and the scope of the computer graphics. So first of all, you have to understand the basic objectives and the scope. Why do we need computer graphics and how to use computer graphics? Then the second objective is to identify the computer graphics applications. So what are the applications in which we need computer graphics? You have to understand also the basic structure of 2D and 3D graphic system. So we see in Java how to create 2D graphic, how to create 3D graphics, etc. So you see all the packages that we need, all the libraries that we need, and you have to import. So we see many types of library. We'll study the advantages and the disadvantages of every library that you can use. Okay. The next objective is to understand the evolution of a graphic programming environment. Okay, so we'll start with the first generation of graphics. Then what do you have as the next type of library, the newest type of library that you can use in programming? You have to identify the common graphics APIs. Okay, you have to understand also, one of the objectives of this course is to understand the roles of Java language, because here we use NetBeans as environment and we are using the Java language. Okay, and in the Java language you have to use the Java 2D and the Java 3D packages. Okay, and you have also to identify the computer graphics related to it. So these are some of the objectives of this course. So let's start with computer graphics. So the computer graphics provide methods to generate images using computer. So generally, if you want to generate an image, so there are many types of images. It can be just an image. It can be mathematical, for example, data. You can have a plot. You can have many types of images. Okay. So the computer graphics provide method to generate image. So we'll see how to generate image by using computer. So by using the Java. Okay. And what is an image? So the image can represent a realistic scene from the real world. So here generally we have the real world, and what do you have on the screen? It is called a scene. Okay, so like in the cinema, for example, you have the real world and there is a camera. This camera will show you just one part of the real world. So it is called the scene. Okay, same thing. So in graphics, so we can create the real world and we can show one part of this real world. Okay, so this is called the scene. Okay, so we can also show graphic like histogram, like pie chart. Okay, we can use a graphical user interface, and we have many types of graphics. So what are the applications of computer graphics? So first of all, you can use a graphical user interface. So if you want to design an application, if you want to design a website, an API, so here you need to use graphics. Okay, so these are some of the applications of the graphics. Okay, visualization in high dimensional data. So we can have just data, we can have 2-dimensional data, 3-dimensional data, and we can have high dimensional data. Application also can be generation of realistic images and sequences of images. So here when we say sequence of image, what does it mean? So if you have an image, so we are just here, we have a scene, we can display one image. And if you have a sequence of images, so here we are introducing the time component. So if we have the time axis, okay, so we display this image, then in the next time, we display this image, then this one, this one. So it is a sequence of image. So if you have a sequence of image, this can generate an animation. Okay. So application also can be designing and modeling and visualizing objects. Okay, so in 2D, or we can make 2D or 3D modeling. So first of all, we have to make the design, then we have to make the modeling, and finally we have to make the rendering. So by making the rendering, we can visualize the object. So first of all, we have to design. After that, we have to make a model of this object, and in order to visualize the object, we have to make the render. So here we have the designing, then the modeling, and then the rendering. Okay. So the combination of real data and images with techniques from computer graphics will probably gain more importance than it has today. So here it's very important to make combination of real data with images that you are generating by using computer graphics. In computer game also, we are using graphics. We are using a lot of graphics in computer game. We are using a lot of graphics also in advertising, in virtual reality. So all these, they are some application of the computer graphics. So in this course, we'll see how to create graphics and how to implement these graphics in the website or application. Or any question about this? Okay, so when we say that you have a sequence of image, can you give me an example of sequence of images? So if you have a sequence of images here, we can talk about animation. Okay, for example, one of the application here in this course is to design a clock. And then here we can see an animation of this clock, and this clock will give us real time. So this is an example of animation. Okay, it's a sequence of images, not one image, but a sequence of images. Okay, so from a real scene to an image. So generally here we have to make the modeling. Okay, for example, here we want to design this gap, for example. Okay, so we have to make the modeling. First of all, we have to make the design, and for designing, we have to simplify the design. For example, instead of using this shape like this, we can use, for example, half of circle like this. We can use an oval here, and we can use here a rectangle. So here what we did, we simplified here the modeling of our scene, okay? And then while we are making the rendering, if you want to create the image, so the image will be one part of this world, okay? So here you can see that we are using this window to select one part of the model image. So the user will see only this part, and this is called the scene, okay? So we have the real world, or from the real scene to an image. So the objects in the scene have to be modeled. So the first part is to make the modeling. Okay, so I have to make the designing, and then I have to make the modeling. Okay, so the modeling will be with the techniques that are provided by the computer graphic tools. Okay, and then we have to make some approximations. So like in this example, so we want to make an image like this, but here we made an approximation. Instead of making this curve here, we use just half of circle. So this is called an approximation. So the approximation, by assuming that the computer graphic tool is very restricted, and the ball here in the real scene can be only approximated by a semi-sphere. So here we approximated this ball by using just a semi-sphere, half of sphere. Okay. The second part can be projection. So we can have projection from 2D to 3D space. So we can generate, let's suppose that we want to design, we want to make a plan of a house. So we can start by making the 2D plan of the house, and then we can make an extrusion. So we can make projection to the 3D. And finally here, we cannot show the whole or all the components. We can use the clipping technique. Okay, so the whole process of generating a pixel image from a three-dimensional virtual scene, it is called rendering. So we turn back to this example. So here we are using the clipping technique here to generate this image. So here what we have here we have a 3D object. Okay, and from the 3D object, we want to generate an image. So the user has to see only this image, and the image is a 2D image. So we don't have 3D screen here. We are talking about 2D screen. So we have to generate just an image so the user can see this image. So here what we did, we made the projection from 3D till 2D by using here the clipping. Any question about this? So what we did here, so first of all, we made the model. So this is our model. We have here half of sphere with the half of sphere, okay? And then we made the rendering, okay? So this is what we have here. So we have two main tasks in computer graphics. The first task is the modeling. So here we are creating a virtual world. This is what this means, a model. Okay, designing and then modeling a virtual world. So this is the first step. The second step is to generate an image from this world. Okay, so this is called the rendering. So the rendering is generating a visual image of the scene. For example, here we have 3D virtual model. So here we have a cube, here a star, we have a cylinder. Okay, and here it is a 3D virtual world. Okay, now if you want to generate an image, so here we call this the rendering technique. So by making the rendering, you can see that here we have just 2D image. So here, let's suppose that we have a camera, and we can select here where to put our camera. So the camera can be from this side, from this side, from this side. So the camera here will give us not 3D option, or not 3D visualization, but will give us 2D visualization. Any question about this? Okay, so if you make the camera in front of the virtual model, you will see this view. To change the position of the camera, if you make the camera, for example, from this side, in that case, we will see another view of our model. So first of all, we have to make the modeling, and then we have to make the rendering. So the rendering is just creating an image from the scene. Okay. So let's now talk about the modeling technique. So here we are talking about, for example, 3D modeling. So let's suppose that we want to make the modeling of this dolphin. So here, to make a modeling, here we need a lot of details. We have many shapes here, and we need a lot of details. So you can see that here we made the modeling of this dolphin by using these triangles. You see that here we are making a mesh of triangle. By using this triangle, we are defining the shape of our dolphin. So here we are making the modeling. So here we are making polygon shape, or we are making the modeling by using polygon shape. And in that case, we are using triangles. Okay. Here we have an example. We are modeling here this rabbit. So what's the difference between the first image and the second image?
The second has more rectangles.
So here we have more triangles. So here we are using triangles. So you can see that the smallest element here is triangle. Okay, and you have a mesh of. Now, from this image to this image, what are we doing? We are refining the mesh. We are using here smaller rectangles or smaller polygons. The next image also are refining again, so here we are also refining the mesh. So if you need more detail, you have to make a refine of the mesh. Okay, so this is what basically modeling. Okay, so here we are making modeling by using the polygon sheet. Here, what do you have? Here we have the rendering. So here we have the rendering of the model. So you can see that you have 3D model, and here you can see that you have a view, you have an image, a 2D image of this model. So this is called the rendering. Same thing here, we have the rendering of this image or of this scene. Okay. So for the modeling, we can use polygons. Okay. And for the polygons, what do you have? So let's suppose that you have this cube. So to generate this cube, we are using here, you can see that we are using rectangles. One rectangle here, another rectangle here. Okay, so here for the rectangles, we have the vertex list and we have here the face list. So here we have many faces. So you can see that here we have, for example, this is the face of triangle. This is another face of a triangle. This is another face. Okay, so we have F1, F0, F2, F3. So all these are the faces of the triangle. Okay, and for every triangle, okay, we have this list. So you have a list of vertices. Okay. So this is called modeling by using polygon sheet. Any question about this? Okay, so here the component and the function that you see the modeler. So the model here is the tool that you are using to create the model or 3D model. The tools that you have here for making rendering, which is called the render. You see also the hardware device, because the hardware device can affect the quality of our model. Okay, you see what is the virtual world, you see what is the view. What is the geometry, and if you have geometry, what are the transformations that we can do? So if you have any object, you can make a transformation, you can make a rotation, you can make scaling, you can make a rotation. So all these are called transformations. So we see a list of transformations that we can apply on our model. So we see the illumination, because here if you have a 3D model, you have two options. So for the rendering, you have to use what we call a camera. So the camera will give us a 2D object, and we can add also some light, and this is called illumination. Okay, so have an interaction between different components, and we can also generate some animation. So these are some components and some functions that you can use in computing apps. So in this course, we are using NetBeans. So this is our LMS, Computer Graphics and Multimedia. So if you open the LMS, you have this website. Okay. Now, first of all, you have your introduction about this course. You have the module code Tm240, which is 4 credit hour. We have the prerequisite. We have the outcomes. That means after finishing this course, what the students should be able to do. Okay. And then here we have the objectives of this course, the calendar here, and then we have the assessment down. Okay, so let's start from the beginning here. So what we have here, we have the outcome of this course. Let's see the outcome. When after finishing this course, the student will be able to do, it will be able to do what? It will be able to describe the basic transfer of computer graphics, explain the different options in graphic system like transformation, project, diffuse, how to make the texture, etc. How to add light, how to make shading, how to make animation, how to make clipping. So all these techniques, you'll see all these techniques in this course. Okay. The student should be able also to select the suitable hardware. Yes, go ahead, please.
I'm a Fatul Gahtani student. I didn't know it is online attending. So I just attending late. Is it okay?
No problem, no problem. It's okay. Okay, so here we have
my group section is 6101. Is it with you, Dr. Wasi?
For the sections?
Yeah, 6101.
Okay, I will check later because you have 6 classes at the same time, okay? 6 groups.
Okay.
So here, let's say turn back to this outcome. So we have to explain, or the student will be able to explain different operation in graphic system, like as, or such as transformation. What does it mean, transformation? Let's participate. Let's make it interactive class. Transformation. What type of transformation you can apply on objects? Okay, let's suppose that we designed a 3D object. We designed, for example, a cylinder, okay? Or we designed, for example, any shape, any 3D shape, a sphere, for example, okay? And then we need to make an animation. We want to make, for example, here, a shape like this. So instead of creating a second shape, we can make a transformation of the first shape. Okay, so here we are making what? We are just making a rotation of the first shape. Or let's suppose that we want to create a smaller cylinder from the first one. Okay, so here we can make another type of transformation. It is called scaling. We're just changing the scale of the first object. So this is called transformation. Okay. So as I explained, you can make a view. So the view is 2D. So here we are talking about a view in the rendering process. Okay, so in the modeling process, we are creating the different object of our scene. And here you can just select or use the clipping technique to generate a view, to generate an image, to generate a 2D image from our whole workspace. Okay. And then texturing, what does it mean, the texture? So after designing a model, you want to make a rendering of this model. So if you want to make the rendering, here you have to generate the texture of this rendering. So let's suppose that we want, let's suppose that this cylinder is a metal cylinder. We need a shiny metal cylinder. So have to just to make the modeling process, and then we can apply the texturing of metal texturing. So this will give us an image of this cylinder, and this cylinder will be like a real metal. It can be, for example, stainless steel, or it can be copper. So here we can select many types of texture. Is it clear? Okay, so we can change the lighting, we can add shading. So here the shading is related to the lighting. Okay, for the light, you can apply many types of light. Okay, there are many options for the light, and for every type of light, here you have shading or another view of the shading. So you can have animation, you can have also clipping. So clipping is the process of rendering to take just one 2D picture from the whole. It's okay. Also, the student can be able to select the suitable hardware and software for the graphic system. So this depends on the application that you want to generate. Okay, so the students should be able to explain the graphic algorithm. So we see many algorithms. So the student should explain the graphic algorithm, and also the student should be able to develop the algorithm in Java. Develop graphic algorithm in Java. So if we summarize, so upon completing this course, the student should be able to evaluate the graphic hardware and software, compare different computer graphics applications, select the suitable graphic hardware and the suitable graphic software, and evaluate 3D modeling techniques. So after completing this module, the student should be able to develop a graphic application by using advanced APIs, apply the computer graphics concept and technique to develop a graphic visualization application, and make 3D. So these are the outcome of this course. After completing this course, the student should be able to perform these tasks. Okay, so here for the assessment, we have for the TMA, we have 50% of the grade will be for TMA. We have the attendance, 5%, the midterm assessment, 30%, and the final assessment out of 50. So here we have elements rules for the plagiarism, for the late submission policy, etc. And then here we have the week 1. So here we have different week 1, then lecture 2, lecture 3, lecture 4, etc. So here we have the different lectures. Okay. We have here some past assessments, so we have a calendar study. Now, if we go to the lecture 1, so the lecture 1 here, you can see that you have here 2 links, one for the lecture. So this is the lecture that you are using. So here you have the PowerPoint lecture. Okay. And then the second link, so the second link is for downloading the script. Okay. So here we have the skeleton. Let's open this later. So here we have the skeleton. So the skeleton is the starting or the skeleton of the program that we are using during this term. So in this term, I'm using NetBeans. Okay. So this is NetBeans. So we can first of all we have to install NetBeans IDE. Okay, then after installing NetBeans IDE, so we have to open the skeleton. Okay, so you can download the skeleton. Let's download the skeleton together. So here we have the skeleton, which is zip file. So compressed file. Okay, so we have to unzip this project. Okay, and then here you have the source of the skeleton. So we have the Java code of the skeleton. Okay. So I'm opening here the skeleton by using just an editor, text editor, but you have to open this skeleton by using the NetBeans. Okay. So here, if you have code, so you can select here of the paint components. And here, if you want to generate any code, if you want to write, if you want to paste any code, it should be in the paint components. So like this example here, what we have in this example, we are just drawing a line from the point 0, 0 to the point 100. So this is the skeleton. You have to open the skeleton, and you have to download the skeleton, and you have to open the skeleton by using the NetBeans. Okay. So here you have the skeleton. What you have here, we are importing some packages. Then here we have the applets. So here we are using the class skeleton extending Java applet. This is our name. Okay. And here of the paint component. So in the paint component here, you can write your program. So at this location, so you remove everything here. Now here you can see that you have the paint component, and in the paint component you can type your instruction. Okay. Here we don't have any instruction. You can see that you have an empty image. Okay. Let's open the skeleton again by using just the text editor. So here in this skeleton, I have just one command here, which is g.draw line. So here we are drawing the line from the point 00 to the point 100 to 100. So we see these instructions one by one. But here for the moment, let's try this command, draw line. You can see that here we have the first line. So here what we have a line. So we have this line here. Okay. So the line is here a connection between this point and this point. So the first point here has the coordinate 0, 0. So here the coordinate of this point is 0, 0. And then we have the second point. So you can see that here for the second point, we have 100 for the x component, and we have 200 for the y component. So you can see that here we can generate the axis. So this is the x component, and here we have the y component. Okay, so the first point is at the location 0, 0. The second point here is at the location 100, 200. And the command that we're using here is draw line, and the draw line command permits us to draw line. So if we change here, if we make it 200, 200. So this will be create a graphic from the point 0, 0, which is this one. So this is the first point, 0, 0. This is P1. And now P2 has the coordinate 200, 200. So 200 for the x component will be almost here. And for the y component, we have 200. So the point will be somewhere. So this will be our second point. And then here we are drawing the line from the first point to the second point. So you can close this, you can run again. You can see that now we have this line. This is the first point here, and the second point is click. So I can create another line. Let's create now another line. So G here is for this graphic component G, and the method that we are using here is draw line. So let's click this G dot draw line. Let's start from the ending point of the first line. And then let's select here for the x component, let's use here 400, and the y components, let's make it as 200. So we'll have two lines. You can check what we have as a graphic here. So you can see that now we have this line. This is the first line on P1 to the point number 2. So the point number 2 has here the coordinate 200, 200. And then the second line is from P2 to P3. So for P3, what do you have as coordinate? We have 400 for the x component, and we have 200 for the y component. So we see in the first chapters how to create lines, how to create ovals, how to create circles, how to create rectangle, how to create polygon, how to create a path. So we'll see a lot of shapes that you can create. Okay. Do you have any questions, Shabab? Okay, so the graphics object to be modeled can be in 2D. We can make a 2D modeling, or we can make also a 3D modeling. So it depends on the library that we are using. So the common space that hosts all the graphic object, it is called the word space. So here, we turn back here. So here, this virtual word is called the word space. So this is the modeling part. So in this example, you can see that here we have 3D modeling, here we have 3D modeling, here we have 2D modeling. So this is called the word space, word model. Okay. Now, the graphic objects to be modeled in the workspace are usually geometric entities. So what we have in this workspace, we have some geometric objects. You can have lines, you can have surfaces, you can have boxes, you can have volumes, okay? And they can include other special objects like lights. We can add lights, we can add also text, we can add images. So all these are some components that we can add in the word space. So the graphic object may possess many characteristics and properties. So for the object, we can change the color of the object after creating the object. So I created an object here, a 3D object. After creating this object, I can change the properties of this object. I can change the color. I can change the transparency. What does mean transparency? What does mean transparency of the object? If you have two objects like this. So in order to be able to see the two objects, so here you have to change the transparency of one in order to be able to see the object that is in behind. Okay. You can change the texture. So for the texture, you can use any image as a texture. You can use many, so have many types of texture. You have metal texture, you have many types of texture that you can apply for the model. Okay. So here the texture, the transparency. Yes, go ahead.
Your voice is not clear. Can you repeat the questions? Your
Okay,
voice
is it
is
clear?
cutting.
Okay,
Your
now
voice
is it clear now?
Yeah. I think you asked questions, right?
Yes, about the transparency. What does mean transparency? So we have first of all
in
to create the
Arabic,
model.
it's الشفافية, right?
شفافية, yes. So first of all, we have to create the model. So it is the modeling part. So creating the model here will be without color. And then if you want to make the rendering, we can generate the option, or we can change the options of this model. So first of all, we can make the modeling part. So the modeling part, we have just, for example, to model this box. We want to create this box. And then how to render this box, so it depends on the properties here. So we can change the color, we can change the transparency, we can change the texture. So generally, we are talking about transparency if you have two or three objects, one behind the other. In that case, we have to use the transparency in order to be able to see all the objects. So when you change the transparency, this will change also the colors. Okay. So let's see now some components and some functions. So first of all, the modeler. So the modeler is the tool that is responsible for the construction of the virtual world model. So here we are making the modeling. The modeling technique, that means after designing, we have to create the model of the different options. Now, in order to generate the scene that we have to show for the user, we have to go to the second step, which is the rendering. So generally, there are two main steps. One of them is the modeling, and then we have the rendering. Without rendering, we cannot see realistic images. By using the rendering, we can see realistic images. Okay, so the rendering will generate the scene that you have to show. Okay, after creating the object, we can make object transformation. So here we are talking about geometric transformation. So the transformation, they are applied to the object to achieve a proper placement of the object in the virtual space. So we can change the orientation of the object, we can move the object, we can rotate the object, we can change the scale of the object, etc. So all these, they are called transformation or geometric transformation. And if we add, if we add here interaction, if we add, for example, some links, some buttons, etc. So here we have interaction. So if we are adding instruction or interaction with the graphic system, we are creating what we call graphical user interface. So what is graphical user interface? So we have a graphic system, and in this graphic system, we are adding interaction. So when you click this button, you have to execute this task. Click to the other button, you have to execute that task, etc. So we are designing and are creating what we call graphical user interface. Okay. Now let's see the type of the transformation. So here we have two types of transformation. You have the object transformation and you have the viewing transformation. So the object transformation is the mapping of the object space into the word space. That is common coordinate reference system for all objects. So here we are talking about the transformation of the object. Whereas the viewing transformation is the transformation from the word space to device space. So the device space here, we are talking about the, for example, the screen. So here the screen will show us an image. Okay, so here the viewing transformation, that means we are moving from the workspace to a view. And the view, it depends on the hardware that you are using. That's why here we are talking about the device space. So a useful family of geometric transformation is the affine transform. So we see in the next lesson what does mean affine transform. Okay, so here we are talking about transformation like the translation, the rotation, the scaling, reflection, etc. So all these, they are called affine transform. Okay. Any question? You have any question? Okay, so we made just a small introduction on this course, computer graphics. We have seen that we are using the Netlines. So first of all, you have to download Netlines at home. Okay, so you can download the Netlines. We have free version that you can use and download. Okay, and you have to download the skeleton. We have seen that from LMS, you have the skeleton. You can download the skeleton. Yes, right.
I have a question about the slide. Did you download the slide from LMS? Is it the same in the LMS?
Yes. What's the problem? Any problem? So here you can download this slide.
What I mean, sometimes is not. We have the same slide that you use it in the lectures.
Yes, this is the slide that I downloaded right now. Okay.
From LMS.
Yes, I downloaded now this slide from LMS. Okay?
I
so
mean
the next slide.
Explain on it.
The next,
is it the same
yes,
in LMS?
Yes. Okay. So today's class, it is just an introduction. Next class, inshallah, we will repeat what we have seen today. I will make a resume about what we have seen, and then we'll start officially. So here we have almost half of the class is already present. So next class we'll start officially. So today's class is just an introduction. That's it. Okay. Next class, inshallah, we'll use the slide that we have on LMS.
What about the attending?
Yes, it will be done automatically. Okay.
But some of the students, they just going to the college as assuming it's attending, not online.
No problem. For the first class, it's okay. No problem. Okay.
Okay.
We'll take all these excuse. No problem. Okay. But for the next class, it will be mandatory. Okay. So attending will be mandatory starting from the next class.
Okay, doctor. Thank you.
So it is just our first class. It is just an introduction class, and then we will start officially in the next class. Do you have any question? So please at home try to download the NetBeans, install the NetBeans. If you don't have NetBeans installed, you have to download the skeleton. You have to open the skeleton by using NetBeans and try to write some commands on here. In the slide, you have some commands. Try to draw a line, draw a circle, draw object, so you like a rectangle, etc. So try to manipulate or to create simple object or simple geometric object by using NetBeans, and we will complete this in the next class, inshallah. Okay.
دكتور
So if you don't have any question, thank you.